right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Sunday evening, 12/16, folks, December 16th, 2018. Again, I am thrilled to have you here. Great couple of videos I put out over the weekend. Folks, unbelievable the amount of emails. I didn't know how I was going to pick. At this point, I ended up ordering a few more because I'm going to send a few out to a few different people. But man, one I got, and I'm going to do a little more. I'm waiting on a response back. But what a great, just emails and reading things. That's wouldn't suspect. But anyway, a few more. So I showed you guys. Okay. Oops. Right, we got the armor of God. So somebody's getting that. A couple of them. And I think if that person gets back to me, and I'll give a name out here. I just want to make sure I'm right. Not on this episode, but the next one. This is also going to go. This is a soldier's prayer. I won't be able to see it too well, but very cool. I'm going to send that one. So this one person is going to be getting two. And then in the future, and I got some more, I ended up going on and ordering, I don't know, 30, 40 of these today. So duplicates of ones I have that I thought, you know, hey, we got the heads I win. Tails, you lose. This one's cool. The only thing I fill when I kill is recoil from my rifle. Actually spins over as well. One shot, one kill. These are just cool ones. They're not all for everybody, but, you know. So then we got this one. I'll get this to focus. It's black, so it's hard for it to find its right. But I am my brother's keeper. That's what it says on that side, vaguely, and then all right. Tons of different ones that made me think. So then I went a step further, and I actually designed one in the works. I got like 25 of them coming. They're going to be real special, and they are Patriot Hour challenge coins, folks. All right. So keep on emailing. I haven't shut this one off yet. I'm going to pick a few more. So this first batch, I'm going to get them out here this week. So, and I'll announce names or something at some point. So keep tuned in, keep emailing. Awesome. Tons of positive, just chit-chatting with the Patriots. Again, I wanted to remind folks, if anything, down in the comments, send me a link to an email. I can do it that way. Try not to put your address down there. I don't wish that on anyone. I've deleted a few that I saw. If you're one that you think that on the last video, just go back, maybe get rid of that. You don't want be a little cautious with your address, just for whatever reasons. Not on my behalf, but just other people out there, who knows, all right? So to make sure you are sending that to my email, the link is down below. I don't mean the comment section, the link underneath this video. And if you're on a TV or something, I'm not real sure how you do all that. You need a tablet, computer, or a smartphone, and it'd be a little easier. I'm not sure. All right, so I had a few things to go over here. We got no new queue. Interesting, I watched a few things as well this weekend, and I did want to touch base. I think I saw the... there's several things going on. We still got the people attacking other people, wanting to know things. And I did hear an interesting piece, and I just wanted to say it in this manner, all right? For those of you that might be a little confused or Do you believe that Q is intelligence? In a yes or no, you want to. Well, do we believe that there was Trump-Russia collusion? And people can be like, well, we're looking into it. Well, that's what we're looking into with the Q thing. They said there was going to be Trump-Russia collusion. We've getting tidbits of things. Half the country's happy with what they found on Mueller and Manafort and, crimes that they committed 9-10 years ago. Where's the Trump-Russia collusion that we were promised to start this whole thing? That's all they're going to end up with when you turn the whole intelligence system on somebody and those around them, and then you go into a 2-year investigation, and everyone keeps telling us, well, they're looking. So for us to have to follow something, we have to have a clear result right away and everything. Folks, if this is intelligence, if this is, of course it's not, we're not getting leaked intelligence. That would be against the rules, against the law. I've said this before. This doesn't register with you. I come from a long line of, my grandpa's World War II. My father was Vietnam, K-9 Marines, K-9 handler in the Marine Corps in Vietnam. That doesn't make me, I've heard stories. I understand. I got uncles that were in, older sister that was in for 8 years, her husband. I had another stepsister that was married to a guy in the Air Force. He retired. I got a tight niche family of military, lots of military, and then friends that I still, I served for quite a while. So I got friends that are still in at the retirement age in the next, last year, next few years coming. Folks, if you are in the intelligence community, if you yourself or your loved one worked in the intelligence community and they were privy to the highest levels and knew things were going to come, and if they knew their own family or kid or somebody was in harm's way because of something they saw and there's nothing they can do about it, but the intelligence is pointing, maybe they don't know exactly, but it's pointing, and they got a real good idea, and all the official warnings go out, but things are probably most likely in the old system are going to happen. Now, do you come home and just flat out tell, maybe you're a father and your son's going on a trip somewhere and he's going to be getting on this exact plane? What do? Do you come home and say, son, I saw things at work today, and you don't get on that plane because it's going to blow up? Now, you just broke the law to your own family. If you were to be questioned, and being in the intelligence communities, you're going to get, sometimes every 6 months or few years, you'll have a re-polygraph. You'll go in for just a review and questions to get you on paper. They like to do that over time, and they have a history. And then when they bring you back in for a review, have you disclosed anything including family, friends, blah, 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 blah? No, I haven't. Now you lied. There's a second thing you've done. So if that ever comes out, they're going to hit you up on you lied, you failed the polygraph, you gave out secrets. There's multiple crimes you've committed. Now, going back to that, you know something, your kid's getting on this flight, you can come home and you can guide him. Let's say, hey, by the way, son, I'm going to take you tomorrow to catch your plane. And now maybe on the way there, you get you pull off to get some gas. The kid's up in this is really generic, kid's up in the front seat on his phone, and you get out and you kind of, maybe pop your tire with a knife or something. And then you come out of the gas station, oh my God, we got a flat, and now you're late and you miss the plane. Now, again, that can still come up during questioning in your reviews, and depending on how if you're on a polygraph or the extent of the questions. Have you ever da da da? No. Have you ever aided in the da 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 da? No. So there's still more in-depth things you can do to separate yourself, and depending on your answers, but and what's asked, but. Now you've limited yourself to what you've broken, and that's just guiding, and that's kind of an extreme one to show you. There's so is the Q thing somebody with intelligence guiding without breaking? I mean, folks, you don't always have straight cut answers in things as far as yes or no, because it's just like with everything going on in the mainstream that we all live in. People want. Of course, to know this and that. Other people say there's no facts, but I mean, if we go off the mainstream, half the country's gameplay, I guess as long as in the Q community, we get a couple indictments at the end of all this, and a couple people maybe with some bad, the Hillarys, the Clintons end up having personal tax issues, and that's all we uncover. But you guys said it was going to be this, and they drank blood and babies. Yeah, we're happy with them getting the personal taxes. That would be their logic on how they're doing with the Russia-Trump investigation, and they're getting things on other people. Well, that's not over yet. Well, neither is this, what we're in. This could take 2 years as well, maybe 3. See, I could play their game back and forth all day long. I don't have to give answers if they don't. Half the country, they want me to prove something in a 2-minute conversation where they can't prove theirs in 2 years. So I guess it's all about, following, and of course we all want result, but you're following along. We have been guided in many times to this person, to that person, and we've seen time and time again, tons of people have moved out of power, been removed out of power, stepped away, fallen many spotlights down, and then only to be let go eventually. So we have drained the swamp that is result. It's been little by little, person by person. And I like to refer back to all the people in the DC area that are not seeking re-election, both sides of the political party. This isn't a one-sided deal at all. How about this? All right, 2 days ago, 10 hours ago, 2 days. So this is really, 22 hours. Entire floor at D.C. federal courthouse sealed off for a mysterious case. All right, we got tons of articles here. We can go to multiple just to read a little headlines and maybe a little meat. Entire courthouse floor cleared for Mueller's mystery grand jury witness. On Friday, a courtroom in Washington, D.C. was sealed off from the press as dozens of reporters gathered there because of rumors they had heard on social media that Robert Mueller was bringing in a secret witness to testify in front of a grand jury. And then something totally unexpected happened. Courthouse officials forcefully removed members of the press from the entire 5th floor. Then they sealed it with security guards so no one could enter. This, of course, led to even more speculation on social media. Who was Mueller's mystery witness? And what was the subject matter? So I've heard it both ways. It's to do with Trump or something else. D.C. Circuit secrecy keeps apparent Mueller grand jury fight under wraps. Reporters shoot away as mysterious. So I guess they gotten leaks enough to keep pushing it that way. Measure keeps a possible Mueller linked case secret. So, all right. And I've also heard reports that they are literally looking into every past Trump administration organization that he's ever been a part of. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to, folks, we got it. In 1982, he didn't file something this way, and he owes $10,000 of taxes that year for this little thing. And with all the fines from then to here, blah, 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 it's going to be a huge number. They'll find something from the 80s, and we're all going to be like, well, what's that have to do with Russia? We didn't find nothing on that, but this is what we did find. All right, so 18 days, it's a little old. All right, so we're still looming a shutdown. 57 minutes ago here, President Trump is finding himself increasingly isolated less than a week ahead of potential government shutdown, as even members of his own party admit that he has backed himself into a corner with his demands for $5 billion in funding for a wall on the Mexican border. Everybody is looking to him for a signal about what he wants to do, and so far it's not clear. Few Republicans will criticize him on the record, but behind the scenes, there is huge frustration, they're saying. So I was watching some early morning Sunday different things. Like I said, I'll pop around. I'll go from CNN to Fox to some of these other, just to see what's going on, what's being said, who's who, and if they have they had like Schumer on one of them, Meet the Press or whatever this morning, and this guy. But yeah, they're not. They're acting like they're not going to give an inch. This guy is he's something else actually. I just that that Chuck. All right, hold on here. I had something. What else did we want? Trump. We had a couple here I wanted to read as well. 3 hours. So Judge Ken Starr, former Solicitor General and independent counsel, just stated that after 2 years, there's no evidence or proof of collusion, and further that there is no evidence that there was campaign financing violation involving the president. Thank you, Judge. The Democrats' policy of child separation on the border during the Obama administration was far worse than the way we handle it now. Remember the 2014 picture of children in cages? The Obama years. However, if you don't separate, far more kids will come. Smugglers use kids. So that was something else. I got into a little, something on social media Saturday morning. Somebody I worked with for many, many years, and I don't even know if I'm friends with him, but it was a mutual thing, and it was on a local news article, so there's tons of people, but he had put that quit separating kids, like it was just, real blatant, nothing to do with the topic, but that's what he wanted to use. And I linked the article of, well, hey, some of these kids coming, and there's actually huge numbers. I don't know why they don't use it to tell people, but so I guess when somebody comes at you and they're talking about the separation, if there was 10 people caught at this particular place and 7 of them were felons or the kids didn't match up, they don't ever talk about that. They just talk about the 3 that might get arrested still and then separated. But folks, they're having an issue with trafficking, and these kids are not matching up. They, just because the dad's holding the hand of the kid as they walk up, and doesn't mean it's his. So now the Obama administration, not Obama personally, they had put kids back into the hands of traffickers. There's articles all over from all the mainstreams, from like 2014. A lot of people don't know that. Again, that photo that was circulating was from that era. It's just now everything's under this microscope and amplified times 100. It looks like it looks here as though General Flynn's defense are incidental to something larger, which is for prosecution to figure out if it can find a path to Donald Trump without quite knowing what the crime might be. It stops looking like prosecution and more like a persecution of the president. Daniel Henninger, the Wall Street Journal. Thank you. People are starting to see and understand what this witch hunt is all about. Jeff Sessions should be ashamed of himself for allowing this total hoax to get started in the first place. The Russian witch hunt hoax started as an insurance policy long before I even got elected. It is very bad for our country. They are entrapping people for misstatements, lies, and unrelated things that took place many years ago. Nothing to do with collusion, a Democratic scam. So that's exactly what we were just going over here, folks. So we know that there was talks in the Page, Strzok, other FBI kind of higher ranking, middle ranking employees that were, this camera's a little off. I don't know if that's going to stay. So anyway, they talked about the insurance policy. Plan B, the insurance policy. We always wondered what that was, and that was probably we're going to start this Russia collusion. Folks, it is unbelievable. I beg Donald Trump. I actually tweeted on his thing last night. The time is now. If you can declass, and we know you can, you might as well. There is no more. It seems like this is what has to happen. Might as well declass. We urge of you, Trump, just a declass. Shed some light on this, and let's get probably a hell of a rally going, backing, support. We'll be real loud. We need something here. So we all encourage light at this point. And I just can't understand why not. Like, what the heck, Unless there are, the only logical thing is there are ongoing investigations. This administration tries not to leak, or hasn't leaked that I know of. Folks, that can be the only logical thing at this point. Now the whole Huber thing as well. We just don't get to see a lot at this point. So then that's where people are like, so then why do you believe it? Well, probably the same reason that these other half the country is believing a Russia collusion with Trump. Then there's been no result. You've heard the word Russia more in the last 2 years than I have in my whole entire life. And there's still no proof. They're coming out, and when you argue with these same people that were delusional 2 years ago, and here they are. Well, they got Manafort on this and that. The same thing 8 years ago, Rod Rosenstein cleared them of, or they didn't have enough evidence to go forward. Manafort lied back then. 8 years ago they let him go. Now this time they came back through on Russia stuff, fine-toothed them with a comb, and if they do that to any of you, it's the old, somebody breaks commits 3 felonies a day. How many sins on accident, or on purpose does one do in a day? So you can look at these numbers. And that, they're happy with that, This was all started over a, Russia-Trump collusion. And you get some personal tax fraud, the way they filed something 9 years ago. And they're getting hemmed up on that now because they found more things to do with that they didn't have 8 years ago, and now they're going to go ahead and charge them with it. And then, we won. They are happy with that. And we can, stop doing this and join them over there and just watch the show over there. It's no more of a psyop or more of a delusional talk. And then when nothing comes out of it, 3 years has gone by and they're shoving down, well, this guy went down for that, and then that's it. Nothing more is going to happen out of it other than me having to hear that. Like, of course, yeah. So evidently they're latched onto something they want to believe in. And I guess others do the same. This is a hell of a lot better story. It makes a hell of a lot more sense. It's delusional, you got no proof, and there's no way that it's military people guiding. Okay, then that's your own thoughts. What do? You're not listening to the other side. You're not listening to this. What are you doing? Well, I'm digging for truth, and it's all bad, this and that. Well, that's what you've landed on. I've landed on that as well, years ago. All sides were bad. I didn't listen to none of it. And honestly, in all honesty, I've lived my whole life separate from being in the military, and when I was doing military contract work afterwards for some time, no longer affiliated. Basically, I'm retired. Folks, this is what we believe to be happening because it has to. This is one of our last stances. Me and Ben have been doing research all week, and I had my kids and stuff. We got some work done, and fortunately, we're probably not going to get that episode out tonight. There's still more that needs to be done, but it gets into some of this why we're here where we're at right now with all of this and what needs to happen. And how it has to happen. It's real particular. So you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to. And again, I'm one that loves facts and research and truth and result and, everything has to be there. So, of course, we're all waiting. And, again, if it's a really good military op, then nobody would be cracking this. You wouldn't be able to understand it. You wouldn't be able to find things out, until it happens when it's supposed to, or exactly when it's supposed to. I know people that are been digging to, find out who it is, and they don't have answers. Some of the best journalists in the world, some of these off the grid, not so much mainstream, working for themselves, private investigating, they have cracked things like this and been able to get right to it, or within a month or two. They've been doing it for months and with lots of money, lots of research, and they still can't figure it out if it's leading to this or if it's just somebody. So that there alone is wild. That lets you know the extent that it went to. And then even to have the flow of information and to keep of course, there's lots of articles that we get linked to sometimes are 10 years old. It's all public knowledge. It's there. It's like a puzzle being put together. So, like I said, we have all gotten to be better researchers, better listeners, in some way or another. I think a lot more people are more in tune, and probably at the peak of your, political thought process ever. Like, I've seen tons of comments on that. People are like, I just am so much more. When I went to the voting booth this year, I was so much more what they thought to be informed. So again, folks, it all comes down to it in the end. If you just want to muffly think it off, is this: there is no Russia-Trump collusion, but yet 98%, 92% of the media is screaming that at all of us every day. And at the end of all this, if there's none, what is the freaking difference if we are saying that there's a Satan Hillary hoax or collusion, a Obama Satan collusion, and there doesn't turn out to be one? What's the difference? Who really cares? I mean, I know there is one, but for those of you that want all the proof, go get it. Go get it by looking at photos of Hillary's daughter. Look at just their connections with the people. Look who they hang around. And, everyone says it. And every single story that is out there, whether it's false or been misconstrued, it started from something, the chitter chatter. And every really good lie, there's, at least a little bit of truth. So, it's been interesting. Now we are waiting for some huge result, and we just want Trump man here to release some classified stuff on how they did all this, folks. How they, what they used. I mean, they're release some of the memos, unless it's going to screw something else up, which seems to be the case. Drag on all these investigations so he can't really release nothing. If he does, then he ruins that for them, and then people get off because it was more important to declassify it, and that was the evidence that was going to be used on somebody. I mean, there's just multiple multiple angles here on it. All right, so again, don't let nobody drive you. Don't let nobody drive you away from something, into something. I've come to my own conclusion. That's why I'm here. I don't need anybody asking me anything because it just doesn't matter. I don't think the average person that a lot of these people are just yahoos, honestly. I don't know what their background consists of. I don't, I'm not knocking, but it just certain people, they just don't have it going on. That's all. And they have no reason asking questions to others. That's it. They should be asking themselves questions. All right, so we're going to shut this one down. I've been rambling. It's been a half hour. Just wanted to get on here, talk to you guys for a little bit. The challenge coin, that is a new thing with the Patriot Hour, folks. We got our own challenge coins coming. So those will be, I ordered a decent little batch, but I'm sure 10 of them are gone just from around here. So I'm going to have 10 or so, maybe like 8. And we're going to give them out really slowly, or I'm going to get more. I just wanted to test them out, see how they are. If I have to make any changes, I don't want to order 1,000 or 100 right off the bat. So I did 25. And then I got some other ones. So again, keep emailing. These are still for the armor of God. All right, so got more coming into these as well. I have like 3 here that I'm going to be able to get out, and for this first one that we did, and I'm still picking a few more. So these other ones should be showing up this week. The made ones will probably be a week out. Maybe we're talking after the holidays. So, all right, I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you, and we'll see you back here on the next Patriot Hour update video real soon.